What is a tiny house shell? Well, in simple terms, all tiny houses start as a shell. That is the exterior structure, the windows, the doors, the finished roof. That is a stage one for our tiny house shell program. If you're not looking to build it completely yourself, that's where a shell comes in, is where we can build the structure for you. So starting with our base model shells, it includes the trailer, standing seam metal roof, 4 windows, a glass entry door, T111 exterior siding, and that would basically be a base model tiny house shell. From there, we have options to add more windows, lofts, electric plumbing, different roof styles, different exterior features, different siding, all the way up to a complete tiny house that you could just turn the key and move on in. So the tiny house shell is a really perfect option for those that want to take part in a build, but they don't want to do everything themselves, or they're intimidated by the thought of framing a whole complete tiny house themselves. So that's why a tiny house shell might be a good option. Now, the process of starting with the tiny house shell, the first biggest decision is decide how big you want it. So deciding on the length of the trailer, the width of the trailer, whether it's going to be 32 feet, for instance, 32 feet long. Choose if you want the 8-foot wide, a 10-foot wide, or a 12-foot wide shell. You select the features of the trailer you would like drop axles or custom bump out. There's certain features on our shells which are already included because it makes building easier. Some of those features are the flush cross members. We already include that as a base on all of our shells. Steel flashing, it simplifies the build for us. And then the threaded rods, those are features that are included on all the tiny house shells. So whether it's a base model or a complete turnkey build, it just makes it easier on the building process. So that is included. So once you decide on the length and width you'd like to do the tiny house, you're committed to that size, that's the size you want to go with. The next process is we get that trailer on order. So we take a deposit to get the trailer into the production queue. So while the trailer is in production, then we move into the design process. So the design process is we're gonna work with you. We're gonna look at some sketches maybe you had. You don't have to have any drawings or sketches, but we'll start the conversation where we'll hop on a video meet or a Zoom call, talk about what you desire to have in the floor plan of the tiny house, bedrooms, how many plumbing fixtures and so forth like that. Now, whether you're just getting a base model tiny house shell where we don't do electric or plumbing, we will still do the full design process to show the complete tiny house, because if we're not doing the electric plumbing, we still kind of need to know where everything is going to be for things like window layout or exterior features or roof styles. That really kind of helps us understand the full scope of the build, whether we're doing it, you're doing it yourself, or you're going to have local contractors finish out the build for you. All tiny house shells, there's no threshold that you have to hit. You don't have to reach a certain level or do electric, plumbing, cabinets. You can always add those as the time goes on or throughout the process. So once we have that nailed down design, we could start to work on calculating the windows or other special custom features that are in your build. So at that point, say we figure out all the windows, doors, or any custom feature. If you're going to do some accordion, windows like we have here, or skylights we have in this tiny house, we'll start to get pricing on all those features. We'll connect with you and we'll kind of go over all that pricing for those custom features. And at that point, we'll want to get another deposit to order those materials, because in the prime time season, windows could be anywhere from 6 to, we've seen 24 weeks on certain style windows. Our accordion windows are generally consistent at around 4 weeks. We'd like to get that stuff going once the design is finalized. The next stage in the process usually is when the trailer is done. So the trailer will be done. We'll have you pay the remaining balance on that tiny house trailer. We'll arrange shipping to our workshop and get ready to start on the build. That next step, when we're ready to start on the build, we have the custom features ordered. We'll usually take a deposit to help us get through the framing of the structure. And say we're just doing a shell, no electric, no plumbing. We'll frame out the structure, get the roof ordered. You can choose with up to 30 colors for the roof. We'll get the windows installed when they come in, build out the shell, and that is a finished shell. And we could arrange delivery, or you can come pick it up. Now with all of our builds, all of our customers, you're welcome to come by any time during the process to see the build in progress. We can do video calls, phone calls regularly. We always start a group chat in the beginning of the process, so we're kind of just talking about all the details of the build, just make sure that no detail is overlooked. At that point, you can always add electric and plumbing. We price per item. Plumbing, there'll be a price for every rough fixture, whether it's like a washer, a dryer, a water heater, kitchen sink, bathroom sink, water heater, so 5 rough plumbing fixtures. Electric will go through the plan and kind of will offer suggestions on where you should put electric, where you should put switches, light boxes, exterior outlets, exterior light boxes, and then we can quote out a full electric quote. This is also something that a lot of our customers decide to have done locally too, but we can absolutely add it on any of our shell builds. So after plumbing and electric are done, you do have the opportunity, if you'd like, to add insulation. We prefer to do spray foam insulation on all our builds. You're getting a higher quality product and it can be done really quickly. So you're just getting a higher R value than you would with fiberglass. But we are flexible on everything. You could do wool insulation, you could do rock sole, fiberglass, spray foam. We are totally open to customization on all of our builds. And all of our tiny houses are really built to order. Every one that you might have seen before, they look like that because they were specifically designed and laid out for the client that we were building it for. So we could be as hands-on in the process as much as you would like, or be hands-off and let you steer the ship. So all these builds are fully customizable. We're really open to using different products and having as much input as you like to be in the build. After the insulation is done, the walls can be closed up. We have, most commonly, a lot of people are doing sanded ply with batten strips for the interior walls, but we could do shiplap, we can do tongue and groove, we could do any type of interior finish. Our tiny house right here, as you can see, it's still in progress because we did a shell and we're finishing off ourselves personally. But our walls that you can see here are a 1/2 inch sanded ply, and then we treated it with a cold mud to kind of give it that look of drywall, but not have to have the downsides or the weight of drywall. Our ceiling, we did a tongue and groove Douglas fir that we installed ourselves. So these are all things that we offer as an option for our shell builds. After you close up the walls, in the lofts are in, we could do flooring, we could do ceiling, we could do cabinets, plumbing fixtures, finished bathrooms, tile, everything like that. So when it comes to the advanced stages, like there's the base model stage, there's the stage with electric, plumbing, insulation, interior walls, like all those things we can quote out in the beginning of the process. But full turnkey cost of builds, there is so many variables based on materials you want to use or design or just windows. There's so many variables on these full builds. We are not able to quote out a full build just knowing the size of the tiny house you want to do, because we have been doing this this is our 10-year anniversary, 2024. So everybody's taste and needs are different. So it's really impossible to know what the finished cost of a build is, based on just the size and the width, because we've seen, swings from very modest builds that we've done to very high-end builds when they're the same size. So once we go through the design process and finish that design, we have a better idea where we can quote at that full build. But we do try to give you as much information as possible in the beginning on what we estimate. We'll give you an estimate on the base size shell and what that could possibly range when finished, but it's almost impossible to really kind of know where it's going to be until we have a full lockdown design. We work with you on the design in detail, and a lot of our customers even decided to start on the design process before they started getting the trailer orders. So that's always an option too. We have our custom designs and plans where we can do a full, elevation drawing, and then also do 3D models of everything so you can see what the house would look like. And there we can fine tune the build before we even order the trailer, because we've done designs like this where people have decided to change the size of the trailer to fit their current needs, or as they've had more time to look at the design and think about it and dwell on it, they've really thought about maybe making changes to go larger. Generally, most people are going larger, and the most popular sizes we're really building right now are in the 30s, 30, 32, 36, and 40, and by 10 feet wide. So 10 feet wide is really taking the cake for the past couple of years on the most popular size for a tiny house shell. So I hope this explains the process a little bit more. If you have any questions at all, you can always email us at trailers@tinyhousebasics.com or leave a comment below in this video and we'll be happy to answer you. Thank you so much, and we hope to hear from you soon.